Hey guys, what's going on? As always, hope you're all well. It is a Wednesday at 5:06. I just got out. Excuse me as I concentrate. I just got out. Good day. Good day today. Pretty productive. And not overly difficult or taxing whatsoever. So again, all good. TikTok should be up tonight. Was just putting on some finishing touches on it this morning before I left for the office. So expect to see that up tonight. I guess if you're on TikTok and you also watch this channel by the time I upload these videos, yeah, that should be up tonight as well. So hopefully, if I'm true to my word, there's going to be a double upload today, which are always they're always nice. It always makes me feel pretty good whenever I get one of those out. It makes me feel even more productive than I normally do. So again, all good with that. Also, hopefully you can see me okay. I'm sure you can, but a little darker out right now. One, because fall's setting in more and more, but really because it's a bit rainy today. So yeah, if you can't really see my face as clearly, you can blame the weather for that one. But yeah, what else? Wednesday, so we're midway through, and kind of hoping that after I make this video, we'll see how traffic is today, of course. But for the rest of the week after this video, kind of expecting there to be quite little to hopefully none, if possible, traffic. So again, we'll just have to wait and see and cross that bridge when we get there and deal with today first. But as has been the common theme with the two videos before this week, nothing really major happened today that immediately jumped out to me of what I could talk to you guys about, but at the same time, kind of getting a couple minutes towards the end of work, once I'm done with all my work, to kind of think back on everything and think about what I can talk to you guys about. There's always a few things that end up coming to mind, and so as always, I'm gonna do my best to give you guys the best that I got today. Because again, so long as you're able to think back and reflect on the day and look at both the good and maybe even if there was bad too, look at that as well. And always, pick out a little something to learn from and notice that you didn't notice before. So henceforth, that's what we're doing today. So I way to work this morning and listen to my podcast, and this guy, he's talking about whatever he's talking about, and he's a very smart guy, and he's very scientific focused and technical and academic, and maybe there's another word that I'm forgetting, but yeah, he's a very science-backed kind of thinker, and a very technical and analytical kind of thinker, if that makes sense. And he was explaining that although he's a very analytical thinker, he doesn't normally doesn't normally, and most of the good and impactful things that have happened in his life have been by complete chance. He's always kind of done his part to try to plan out everything major that's happened in his life or will happen in the future. And because he's trying to plan out, he's trying to predict and make the best possible outcome for himself, before it even happens, in a way. But he went on to say that although he is normally a very analytical and deep thinker about quite literally everything in his life and in the world around him, he went on to make a point that although he is that way, he does also think that it's a very important thing as well to let things happen, by chance. Don't think on things too much. Don't try to plan out and be strategic and be tactical and analytical about every little detail. Because the reason he said was some of the greatest things that happen in our lives are kind of by complete coincidence, where we're in a situation, a scenario, a circumstance, and we're not really thinking too deeply about everything about it, and we just kind of act in the moment. We don't think too much, we just kind of act. And because of that, and because maybe we act in a way that we wouldn't normally do in say other scenario where we're trying to be very strategic and analytical and tactical and whatnot, because we act differently and in a more coincidental way, just not thinking, just doing, a lot of really good things can also come out of that every so often. And a lot of times whenever good stuff does happen because of the coincidence of the way that you're acting in the situation that you're in, those results can be very impactful and very positive for you as well. And that was something that kind of got my attention and resonated with me a little bit. And because I heard that on the way to work this morning, and it brought me back to a video from a few weeks ago. And if you watched it, shout out if you know I'm talking about here. But there's a video that I made a few weeks ago where I mentioned that I was listening, I should say, to a different podcast, and they were talking about being your authentic self, and how by doing so it will never lead to any sort of negative outcome for yourself anyway. Being your authentic self will only ever lead to a positive outcome in your life and whatever you're doing in that moment. And a big part of being your authentic self is behaving in a way where you're not really thinking so much. You're going through whatever you're going through, and you're more of reacting more than you are thinking about whatever it is you're going through at the moment. And because of that, you're kind of just doing what you're kind of just following your soul in a way, and your intuition, and just the way that you naturally act at that stage in your life. You're just kind of following your intuition and your instincts, and really just following your soul in the moment. And it leads to good things. It leads to good things happening in your life. And even if say you think you made a mistake in the moment by say following what your soul and your heart is telling you what to do instead of your brain, you may think that you messed up in the moment, but really, like all things, in some way it always leads to a good place for you, and the place where you need to be and you deserve to be in life. And connecting more to the video from a few weeks ago, while you should just try to be your authentic self as much as possible, as much as I've been kind of ranting about that for the past minute or two, you shouldn't even try to be your authentic self. You should just be, if that makes sense. Don't try to Don't try to overthink and be strategic and tactical and analytical about every little moment and event in your life. And at the same time, don't even try to be what you think your authentic self is and what your authentic self would do in that same moment. You know, don't even try to do that. Don't even try to be authentic. Really just be authentic. You know, just be you. Just be. Don't even think for a second. Don't try to be any whatsoever analytical, strategical, tactical in your thinking. Whether you're trying to, you know, determine the best possible action to take or decision to make or whatever, to, you know, what you think you want to do right now. You know, literally just don't think. Just do. Just be. And that's kind of the most raw and genuine form of being your authentic self, is when you're kind of in that flow state where you're really not even thinking, you're just doing. And really, by doing that, you're almost getting better results and in turn living a better life than, say, if you were to try to think and analyze and be tactical about everything to try to get the best possible outcome for yourself. So it's something that, hearing that on that podcast this morning about this guy, the super smart and analytical guy, saying that many of the greatest things in his life that have ever happened because happened in a coincidental way, in a way that he wasn't thinking what he was trying to do or to say in the moment, you know, and because of that, you know, he just kind of said or did, you know, say, what's the word? It's, he just said or acted impulsively, and he regretted it in the moment, you know, because he thought it maybe wasn't the best thing to do or to say in the moment, but it ended up being the perfect thing to say in the moment. And he said because of that, because he wasn't, you know, being his normal analytical self, and he was just kind of being, right? He made choices and decisions and whatnot that really put him in the best spot moving forward, in the long term especially. So again, coming from that guy, I think it's pretty cool how I kind of had that connection a few weeks ago. So, and you know, it kind of like if you saw yesterday's video too, I said that everything in life is always a balance between two or more things. This is another prime example of that, of being very analytical about everything that you do in your life, and you know, doing the complete opposite and not thinking whatsoever. You know, I wouldn't say to be fully bought into one or the other. I really do think it's like all things, again, it's a balance of both. You know, if there's some major decision or a certain spot that you're in your life where, you know, you need to be strategic and analytical and do some thinking behind, you know, whatever it is, whatever situation you're in, you know, then do it. I think you know when you have to be that way at times in life. But at the same time, say if it's just regular everyday activities, just everyday life, nothing really too crazy or important or whatnot going on, you know, just be yourself, you know, and don't even try to be yourself, just be. So with that, and again, I think it's easy to tell when you're in a certain scenario like that. Yeah, so again, it's really a balance. And, you know, doing both, being super analytical can get you very far in life, and as does, you know, being the complete opposite, just not thinking whatsoever, just acting off of every impulse from, say, your soul or your heart. I think that will also equally get you very far in life, but you know, you need both. You can't get as far as you want to go with just one. I think one well, only one will only ever get you so far, right? If you're only thinking and acting analytically, it'll get you about 50% of the way there of where you want to be in life. And if you're only acting impulsively and just following your heart and your soul in the direction that they're telling you to go in the moment, in every decision, in everything in your life, that'll only get you the other 50% there. So following one completely is only going to get you about halfway there. But when you follow both, and hopefully you're following along, but when you follow both of those, and you realize that each one only gets you 50% there, if you combine them, right? You take those two separate things and group them together into one big thing, and you follow both of them in your life, 50% and 50%. I think you'll get to 100% of all the things that you want to achieve in your life. And if you don't, you'll definitely, in my eyes, get to at least that 90% mark. So again, I think that's something pretty cool to think about and to realize. So I feel like I'm in a good place with that, and giving you my 2 cents concerning that. And I kind of knew this was gonna happen. I kind of had a feeling before I made this video that I was gonna finish up my whole spiel about that before I got home. So luckily I had a backup little story, and I guess lesson, if you also want to call it that, for you guys planned. And this also happened today. So what happened today was during lunch. Again, today was a day where most of the team was in office. So again, it's always nice seeing everyone's face in person rather than over a computer screen, if you even see them over a computer screen. But anyways, it's always nice seeing most, if not everyone, in person. And what we like to do, if we can, is get a good group of us going out to lunch together. So far, as long as I've been with the team, which is starting to come up close to 2 months now, not quite yet there yet. That didn't make sense. But I would say I'm about like a month and a half, give or take, into being with the team. And one thing that I've kind of picked up that we like to do is on the days where the team is all in office together, we try to get as much people to go to lunch with together as possible, which again is always really cool. So we went to this place. It was like a group of 5 of us. We went to this place, and we order our food, and we're waiting for our food at the table, and they have this like section of the place that we're eating at where they have like some like peppers, like chopped up in whole peppers, and they have these little plastic cups that you can put them in and either put on the food that you ordered, or just have as a little something to nibble on. And then so I was kind of waiting for my food, and I was a little hungry because we had a bit of a later lunch. So I grabbed some peppers and put them in my little cup and brought it back to the table, and I'm kind of chewing on them. And I grabbed this one. It was like a mini pepper. You probably can't tell, but it wasn't too big. It was pretty small, but it was a whole pepper. And just looking at it, you could tell it was probably like a bit of a spicy pepper. So I had this pepper, and and I asked the guys, I'm like, you guys think this is like a super spicy pepper or something? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't know either. I guess we're gonna find out. And so I took a bite of the pepper, and I don't know how. This has never happened before in my life, but I took the pepper and I took a bite of it. Second here, got it back up. But I took this pepper and I took a little bite of it, and I don't know how, but as soon as I bit into it, I bit the pepper, and then I don't know how, all the juice from the pepper somehow went just directly up my nose. And so if you were wondering if the pepper was spicy or not, yes, it was a spicy pepper, and it was quite a very spicy pepper at that. So biting into that pepper and having the juice from that pepper go straight up my nose, it didn't exactly feel very good. Did not feel good, and it smelled very spicy, to say the least. But you know, as much as I kind of suffered in the moment, it couldn't help but make everyone else on the team who was eating lunch with us laugh a little bit, and laugh at me at that, not as opposed to laugh with me. They kind of laughed at me, and you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not mad about it. They laughed at me. Spicy pepper juice went up my nose. I get it. I would laugh too. It's no big deal. But what was really cool about that was I was one of the people that I was eating lunch with in our little group that went out. He was someone that, you know, is on my team, but not someone I've really been able to have a genuine conversation with yet and start to actually get close to in a way. It's kind of been like not like a weird vibe between us so far, but you know, just not there yet where, you know, we have like a genuinely good relationship between each other just yet. And what was cool was that we went like that going into lunch today, and I grabbed the pepper and I bit into the pepper, and all the juice from the pepper went up my nose, and he was sitting directly across from me, and it made him laugh. As much as I maybe suffered in the moment, it made him laugh. He got a good kick out of it. And as soon as I kind of regained my composure and cleaned myself up, he actually started, you know, just talking to me and picking my brain about some stuff, and you know, asking some questions about me, and you know, just showing a lot more interest in me, you know, as a person, as a human being, which honestly, I noticed it a little bit in the moment, but looking back, that was really cool how that all happened. Definitely feel like it was kind of like a bonding experience in a way, even though it was kind of one-sided. I feel like me biting in that pepper and having all that junk, that spicy junk go up my nose, it really kind of brought us together a little bit, you know, especially like the whole group, you know, brought us all closer together in a way, but especially me and the guy sitting directly across from me. And I feel like because of that, again, as much as I suffered, it allowed us to you know, kind of break down a barrier in a way and show that, hey, like, I'm just a normal guy, right? Like, I'm just a normal guy, you know, like stuff like this, I guess, happens to all of us every once in a while. But yeah, it just kind of broke down a barrier between us, and we started just, you know, having good, just regular human to human, genuine conversation with each other. And because of that, our relationship really improved dramatically by the end of the day. Not to say that we had a bad relationship going in whatsoever, because we don't. Like, it's always been a very good relationship, but it just got a lot more genuine and a lot, honestly, just better overall by the end of the day. So again, I think that's a pretty cool thing that happened today. So yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't really exactly have a third thing planned out to say now that the second subject is now over with. But yeah, we'll see if I can come up with something on the spot. I guess another little thing that happened today is one of my teammates, sometimes people bring in food for the team, you know, little snacks or whatnot, every couple of days, and my one teammate went apple picking yesterday in a nearby town, and she picked a bunch of apples and brought them in to the office for us to mooch on throughout the day. It's always very appreciated when stuff like that happens, when people go out of their ways to, you know, do good things for each other. And this especially resonated with me because, you know, if you watch yesterday's video, I said that, you know, I really only try to eat the healthiest foods possible. So say this person bringing in apples instead of, say, cookies or donuts or, I don't know, something else not so healthy. I always appreciate people going out of their way to do things, especially for me. But the fact that, you know, and she didn't do it just for me, but the fact that she went apple picking and brought in apples, and yeah, I just resonated with that a lot more, and I really appreciated it. And I think it's also really cool. I'm also a big fan of not only healthy foods, but healthy foods from healthy sources, if that makes sense. You know, I think as healthy as a food might be, I think the source of it also plays a big part in all the benefits and other good stuff that you can get from it that you might not get if it comes from not the best source. So the fact that she brought in apples, you know, a good, nice, healthy food from a small local apple farm, you know, that's what I'm all about. I just love that stuff. So again, just to talk about apples for a few more seconds, I thought it was really cool how she brought those in today. Was another thing, the third thing that I'm talking about is another thing today that made the day all more unique and good at the end of it. So with that, I'm home now. I hope you enjoyed my discussion about acting impulsively and getting spicy pepper juice up your nose and apples. But yeah, as always, hope you guys are doing well. Remember that there's a lot more to it than you think. And remember to ask me questions. And with that, we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.